All right, time for another episode of looking at the scale of consciousness. Again, this was a item that was created by or developed by Dr. David Hawkins in his book Power versus Force. I don't claim to own any rights to this or whatever. I'm just sharing the information, and I highly encourage you guys to go out and get the book and read it because there's a lot more than what I'm sharing here. But when we left off last time, we had just crossed over into our first expanded consciousness vibrational frequency, which was at the level of 200. Again, the scale goes from 1 to 1,000, and we just crossed over into the first. You can call it positive energy if you want to, but expanded vibrational frequency I think sounds a little more cool. And that was with courage. Courage is the courage to recognize that there's something to be willing to pursue, that there's something bigger than just this, right? That there's something out there that's beyond what we see, beyond what we know. If you've seen that pie chart that's been going around where it's got like a little teeny wedge that says things that you know, and then there's a little bit bigger wedge that says things you know you don't know, and then the whole rest of that circle is things you don't know that you don't know. And that's kind of like the realm that, like, how do we even get there? How do we even know, or how do we even discover this stuff that we don't even know about, right? These are the things of great scientific discoveries or whatever. And these are the things that propel us into a new level of consciousness, a new level of thinking, a new level of awareness. And it's these concepts, these learning the things that we didn't even know existed, just learning that they're there, really propels us and helps us set up for that next evolution of mankind. So the three that we're going to be working with or talking about today are neutrality, willingness, and acceptance. And neutrality is not the same. We were talking about apathy earlier, one of the lowest vibrational fields. Apathy is where you just really don't care one way or the other. Neutrality is when you want the best. You're just not like locked into how it's going to come to you. You're not. You don't have a set pattern for which you're willing to accept the abundance that the universe is willing to deliver. There's a sense of flexibility, right? These are the people, when you reach this level, these are the people that just kind of go with the flow. They're willing to accept their current situation because they understand that it's one more step on that stairway for what they see as the potential for their life, right? It's not the end. It's not like, it doesn't define them. It doesn't define their life. It's just one step. So they can accept that where they currently are is not where they want to be. There's no guilt about it. There's no shame. There's none of that negative or lower vibrational frequency energy that's surrounding that. It's just a sense of, okay, this isn't where I want to be. I know where I'm heading, and there's that sense of neutrality that I'm not happy about it, but I'm also not as angry about it. I'm not as sad about it. I'm not going to get down because of what's going on that I don't want right now. This vibrates between 200 and 250. So we're starting to take larger jumps. Before we were looking at jumps of 10 to 20 basis points. Now we're looking at larger jumps, 50, 60, 75 points every time that we make a jump from one to the other. And again, remember that this is not how you feel all of the time, but how you feel most of the time. Your most common denominator, I guess, if you will, that you fall back into. So even if you reach this point of neutrality, you can still go back and feel grief and shame and all those things from time to time, but you're going to come back to that sense of neutrality over time. We're getting into the upper chakras now. We're finally reaching into the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and into our third eye as we move up into these higher chakras. or into these higher vibrational fields. So willingness is, it's kind of like the eternal optimist, right? Everything is possible. Gonna strive to do my best. Even when I'm up against unsurmountable odds, there's still a chance that we can, that I can figure this out. Self-discipline, willpower, that becomes a common theme for those people that have, maybe are making a transformation physically. Maybe they were overweight or out of shape for long periods of time, and then they start to transform, and they start to see that transformation. All of a sudden, it starts to get easier to go to the gym. It starts to get easier to get on the treadmill. One of the things I need to start doing a little more. But that's that willingness. It's a willingness to just surrender, to go with the flow. Things are going the way that we want. And then there's acceptance. And acceptance, when you reach a level above willingness, you begin to see yourself as being the creative force for your own life. You begin to accept not all the stuff that happened in the past. Yeah, you do accept that. You still might not, like it, or it's not like you're happy about it, but you also accept the fact that you realize that you are the force that creates your future. That you are the power. You have that ability. You can set just about any goal and achieve just about any goal that you desire, that you aspire towards. You're not bogged down in the minutia of how to get things done. You just figure things out, right? You just accept, okay, that way didn't work. Let's try this way. That way didn't work. Let's try this way. Let's just keep going because I know what I want. I know the direction I'm going in. Right? And this is, again, when we really start to get that kind of positive outlook for our life. We start to accept that our life has purpose. It has meaning. There's more to it than just being born on this planet out of complete random circumstances to two complete random parents. You start to realize that there is a pattern. You begin to see your life from that 80,000 foot view, looking over the whole aspect of your life, and you say, oh, I see why that happened. I see why that happened. I understand why that happened. And you begin to be able to predict or foresee what may be coming next, right? So it's not like seeing the future or seeing into the future. But you begin to put the pieces together. And just like if you were building a puzzle, right? You build the outside frame, and then maybe you start getting all of the pieces that all have red on them because there's a lot of red in that puzzle. You start to put the picture together. And as you're doing this, you begin to develop kind of this not a pattern, but an understanding of how things more than likely will go. What's going to be the easiest way for you to get what it is that you're looking to get, and that's where we're at. That's when we're at when we reach this willingness and acceptance part. Now we're up into the willingness is at 310, acceptance at 350. We're still not even halfway up the scale of consciousness. And part of that is because once you reach enlightenment, there's various levels of enlightenment, but that's everything from 700 and above. So there's a big chunk at the top of the scale that's just enlightenment and above, right? Just enlightenment and what's beyond enlightenment. So, reason, love, joy, peace, 4 more, and then enlightenment. Next time, we're going to talk about reason and love. And then we'll save peace and joy for the end. I'm not going to talk about enlightenment because I'm not enlightened. I'll tell you what David Hawkins says about it, but I know I'm not enlightened. I know that. I know that I'm not at the point on this scale of consciousness that I want to be, and that's part of the key. That's part of the key. Anybody who says, I've reached a level of enlightenment, I don't need to do this anymore, I don't need to do that anymore. Trust me, they are stuck in pride. They are stuck way back down, below courage, below 200. They're in that destructive, the contracted area of consciousness. They are not expanded. So, talk to you guys soon.